First glance, you might assume that 72-year-old Caroline V is your typical granny, who now enjoys a much slower pace of life, but that couldn't be further from the truth, could it?
Despite abstaining from sex for more than 40 years as a devout Christian, Caroline left the church behind, going on to become an escort, adult model and webcam performer.
She now earns thousands of pounds a month under the name Busty Granny, and after sharing her story on the latest series of Olivia Attwood's ITV documentary Getting Filthy Rich, Caroline joins us now. Caroline, lovely to meet you.
Good
Lovely
morning.
to meet you too.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's quite an extraordinary story, the journey that you've been on to be where you are and doing what you're doing now. I wonder what Caroline in her 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s would have made of what it is that you're doing.
Well, all of those years, I was a Christian, so I would have imagined... I would never have known about it, obviously, then, in those years. Never heard of it, didn't know anything about that side of life.
So swinging or the adult film industry or any of that?
I would have been totally ignorant of all of that. Yeah, I was living my nice little Christian life, you know?
Was it a life you were enjoying?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was really committed. You know, involved each week, you know, you'd have church twice on Sunday, prayer meeting on Tuesday, youth group Wednesday, Bible study Thursday. Really involved, really committed. Oh, the young people, you know, we would go out and do things. Went to Spain doing evangelism, you know, tour out there. Yeah, it was my life. And I was happy, but I had moments throughout my life where I got depressed. And they were the unhappy times, which carried throughout my life.
And so then what was the catalyst? Because obviously there was a massive shift, a massive change in your lifestyle,
Seismic.
your beliefs, your whole life.
Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't be more different, really,
No,
could you?
so what was the catalyst for it?
Well, it was because in the church I had become totally disillusioned because my life was not good.
Right.
And so I got to the point where I thought, you know what? I don't think I really believe this anymore. I don't even know if there's a God anymore. And if there is, I don't think he cares much about me. So I thought, what am I doing here? This isn't for me anymore, you know. And they didn't understand my life and how bad it was and couldn't help at all. So.
And you'd never really had a relationship, had you?
No.
You hadn't found love, you hadn't found a partner, you hadn't really experienced that side of life?
No, never experienced anything like that. Which is why, well, in the beginning, before I became a Christian, I had a few boyfriends and such like and had experienced sex, but it wasn't enjoyable.
Right.
So when I became the Christian, it wasn't as if I was missing something.
Right.
Because I hadn't enjoyed it, you know, which is a huge part of why I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
You know, and just got on with life as it was, as thousands of people do who are single in the church, you know. And so, yeah.
So you left the church.
So I left the church.
And then did you go out on a date with somebody? How did that transition happen?
Yeah. I got propositioned by a 27-year-old rugby player.
Wow.
I was 57 at the time.
This is in the Florists?
Yes, I knew him through work. We'd never met, but we used to do flirty stuff on the phone, you know, as you do. And then one day we were talking on Facebook.
Yeah.
And he said, why don't you come over to mine this evening? And I thought we were still doing the flirty stuff. So went along with it, didn't go. He rang me up and said, well, where are you then? And I went, oh, are you serious? Oh, wow. So I went, no, because I was still very shy. And
Yeah.
So, but then I thought, well, I'd been having emails from a sort of dating sex website. I thought, oh, well, if a 27-year-old rugby player thinks I'm sexy, let's do a little exploring, shall we? And so I found this website, went on there, and I was getting messages from 18-year-olds.
Even younger?
Yes. And I was going, no, being young enough to be my son is one thing. Being young enough to be my grandson is just wrong on so many levels.
Right.
And just an age, babe. They'd say, oh, no, but age is just a number. Yeah, but an important one. Yeah, so I met a lovely guy. We went for a drink, then we went for a meal, and then he invited me to, said, would I go to a hotel with him?
Okay.
And he was closer in age to you?
Yes.
Still a bit younger, but closer?
Oh, yes, he's late sort of 60s now.
Right,
so
okay. Yeah.
Very close to my age. And so, yeah, we got on really well. And so we went to the hotel and, so we did oral, which I'd never done before.
OK.
Yeah.
So I wasn't quite sure what to expect,
Right.
really.
Neither are we.
No. And he thought I was very good at it. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And he said, where did you learn to do that? And I said, I haven't. It's my first time. And he said, well, you got a gift. So I
Right.
thought, well, I'll take that.
That's quite a compliment.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it, when you
Yes.
haven't done anything for 40 years, to be told that on your first time?
Absolutely.
You know, nothing like boosting your confidence, is there?
No.
So, so we carried on seeing each other for about a year or whatever. And then another friend who I'd met on that site, he came over to my place once, and on his way out, he said, I've been going to a club for the last few months. I think you should join me. And it was a swingers club.
And what did you know about swinging at
Nothing.
this point then, Karen? You still
Absolutely.
didn't know what that
She's a
meant.
very quick learner, though, Belinda. She's okay. Don't you worry.
She's adventurous, that's for
Caroline's
sure.
okay. Don't you worry about that.
So you didn't know. So you go along to this swinging club.
Yes, and it was a party night.
Okay.
So, it was a bit busy.
Yeah, we don't need too many details.
No, I'm not going to
obviously.
give you any.
No.
No, because it's really not suitable for daytime television. But let's just say it was a party night, and it was very busy. And I thought, oh my goodness me, what have I come to? What is this place? You know, and it was interesting, and enlightening, but quite scary as well.
I bet it's
Okay.
intimidating.
And so he said, well, you should come back on another night when it's not so busy.
Right.
Okay.
So I did. And that was far more, that was lovely. That was like a social. You sat around chatting, you go in the pool, in the hot tubs, all very nice and civilised, you know.
Very
And-
civilised.
Very civilised. And then you could go off and play.
Be
do
not so
whatever you
civilised,
want,
yeah.
you know.
Slightly Romanesque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know.
Yeah. And so that's how I got into the swinging. I then carried on, joined the website and started meeting lots of guys.
And then you kind of put two and two together and went, well, actually, I quite like this. I can actually make some money now.
Well,
doing
I
this as
didn't,
well.
funnily enough, because I didn't know anything about the escorting at that time.
So how did you find
So it was the guys that I was meeting, and they were saying to me, have you thought about doing escorting? You'd be good at it, and you get paid. And I thought, got to find out more, haven't you? I mean, you know, you can't do anything but I need to find out. So I did. And I saw a documentary, and there was an 85-year-old lady on there doing it.
Right.
And I thought, oh my, well, if she can do it, so can I. So one of the guys that told me about it, he got me all set up on the site. And and off I went.
And so
Wow.
suddenly you're now doing this professionally. So you are having physical and sleeping with men for money.
Yeah.
Caroline, how and have you ever sort of struggled with the conflict in that, whether it's a sort of thing that people do or that it's quite a sort of obviously it's an old business, it's been around for
Yes,
centuries. of course.
longest profession in
Yeah.
history, isn't it?
Have you ever
in
been
the world.
conflicted at all?
No, I think because, I mean, OK, you could say the money, but given that I was already meeting people and doing the same things in the swinging, it was just, well, if you can get paid for it, why not? You know, it's a way of earning money. It's no different. You're still meeting the same kind of people, doing the same things.
And you're enjoying it.
And you're enjoying it.
And what's
Oh,
it
yes.
like being able to offer that service? Because I know that there's quite a lot of younger men that now enjoy your company. What's it
Yes.
like being able to share that with them?
It's great. I mean, I meet all sorts, you know, all occupations, all sorts kinds of backgrounds and all ages, you know. And let's just say there's quite a large percentage of the population that have granny fantasy.
Right.
Something completely new to me, never knew anything about it. But they're just normal guys, and they just like to play with grannies because they feel comfortable with us.
Yeah.
Because they're girls their age or women their age, they can be a bit not helpful. They can
Be
ridicule
intimidated
them
by
a
it.
bit. You know, they're not understanding about
Sure.
Yeah.
guys and all of that realm and what you do. And so they like older ladies because we're just very relaxed with them and we help them and understand. And so it's like, yeah.
And if you know, taking everything that you know now, would you have started doing this earlier?
Absolutely.
Why?
Oh, my goodness, because it's so much fun.